Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another weekly, well, I don't know if I could say weekly because I didn't do this for a couple of weeks. I kept recording reviews, but I haven't put them together until now. Also, I kind of figured, I think I figured out the sound issue. Some people say I have sound issues, and that's because I have a bad habit of moving around when I talk. So if you notice, the sound goes a little loud and a little yeah, that's all me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to sit still. Anywho, I review and I read and rank, and 1 star is going to be horrible, 2 stars is bad, 3 stars is average, 4 is good, and 5 is excellent. Easy peasy. And yes, I have read all of these books that you see going by. These are the ones that are going to be reviewed. It's a bunch of them this time around. And I think I'm going to try to stick to the Marvel versus DC coming up. I'm going to try anyway. But that means reading Marvel, and sometimes that's not as fun. However, they have been getting better. But this isn't about Marvel. This is DC. So let's get this party started. The 1-star books are horrible. Man, these are the books you should stay away from at all costs. They suck. Pearl number 2 is better than issue number 1. I've got to give credit where credit is due. This one, I think, has 5 pages of actual story that moves the plot along, which is amazing for a Brian Michael Bendis book, to have 5 pages of book that moves the story forward. 5 whole pages out of 22, gang. That is amazing for Brian, and I have to applaud it. God bless him. God bless him. He is getting better. This book fucking sucks. And it sucked from number 1. It sucks now. It sucks. The 2-star books are merely bad. They're not good, but man, they may have just one little saving grace. SCARLET number 2. Wow. Better than the first issue. But if you remember, my review of the first issue was basically a flushing toilet. It's not flushed yet, this one. There's more dialogue explaining what's going on, but nothing is explained, if that makes any sense. Hey, we're rebelling because you abused your power. How? What did they do? What are you fucking rebelling against? It's amazingly bad, this. This book is so horrendous because it expects you to be on this girl's side when nothing is explained to us at all. Now, this is a terrorist. We're watching it. Scarlet is a terrorist. End of story. Batman Kings of Fear number 2. I kind of wrote this one off on the first issue. It's fluff. And now that I've got a second issue to build off of, now that I've got a second issue to see the story as it's folding and unfolding, I can say this book, aside from the Kelly Jones art, is absolutely fluff. There are pages and pages of no story, even when they're talking. It looks good, if of course you are a Kelly Jones art fan, and I am. But overall, this, I'm sorry, gang, but this story is just useless. The Flash, number 55. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It seemed like for a while, The Flash was one of my favorite books. You know, I've been enjoying it, but just recently, the last few issues, or maybe just the last couple, it has fallen. The art in here is not good. Sorry, gang, I wish I could tell you better, but the story isn't all that great either. I was expecting a heat wave thing, of course, by the cover. He does show up at the end. And it's like, oh, really? That's where you're going with him? A god? Seriously? I don't know. I didn't like it. Heroes in Crisis, number 1. Tom King is a hit-and-miss writer. I've said it before. When he hits, he hits. When he misses, he really whiffs it. And here, he really whiffed it. And I'm sorry, gang. There's not too much to say. It's a good-looking book. But what's the point? Are you really seriously telling us that Harley Quinn can beat down Booster Gold? No. No, that's plot armor. And then the senseless off-camera deaths of 2 of the Teen Titans, one that's been around since the 40s? No, guys, I'm sorry. This one's a miss. The 3-star books are average. They either didn't register with me or I liked them, but just not enough to recommend them. Catwoman number 3. I have not been a big fan of Catwoman so far. I do like this issue. This is the origin story of Raina, the big bad of Catwoman right now. And yeah, it's kind of exactly what you would think, and it's very entertaining. It's very enjoyable. This does do that whole thing that they do in comic books where it's like, oh, I've got a couple of broken ribs, so I've got to be careful while I'm flipping around and jumping from rooftop to rooftop and doing everything that I probably couldn't do with broken ribs. But if you can look past that, it's entertaining. Superman number 3. So have you noticed that the entire world is in the Phantom Zone, and the big DC comic book crossover is going to be a bunch of heroes complaining about PTSD? Just saying. The entire world is in the Phantom Zone. It's Brian Michael Bendis. There's a lot of talk. There's a little bit of action. And ultimately, the book has 2 pages worth of story that forwards the narrative. It's a Brian Michael Bendis comic book, so you can take that how you will. It's funny to see a book like Titans number 26, because you have Megan come on. She's supposed to be like a liaison for the Justice League through Martian Manhunter. And it just seems like, okay, these aren't the Teen Titans. They've been through the ringer. They've been around the block a little bit, so I thought that was weird. The whole battle scene, this issue is one big battle scene, is entertaining, and I did like the bits with Megan, and I especially like the ending scenes with Gar explaining how, they're right behind Nightwing and all that kind of thing. But I just didn't think that this was a Titans story. It sounds more like a Teen Titans thing. The Silencer, number 9. Now, I've come around on the Silencer. When it first started, I was like, it's all right. But I've been enjoying it. It's been good. This book, however, is a conversation that takes place during a fight. And by that I mean the entire plot, everything, can be settled by a conversation, which they have while they're trying to beat each other up. But, I think the beating each other up comes because of a script, not because this is what the characters would do. Because ultimately, they would look at each other and go, hey, wait a second, you're in my body, and then figure out everything without having to destroy each other in half the city. So, yeah, it's a dummy plot, basically. So, while I have been enjoying Silencer, this one is middle of the road at best. Wonder Woman number 55. I have been waiting for this story to get good, and finally at the end it got pretty good. It didn't get great, didn't get wild fantastic. It is so boring for the first couple issues of this story. Oh my gosh. But right here, it picked up. I liked it. I liked the dialogue. I liked the political intrigue. Of course, the use of the Golden Perfect. That might take a little bit of getting used to, going inside of it rather than being bound by it. Okay, that's a take on it. It's new. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, like I said, it's a pretty good book so far. Action Comics 1003. So in this one, the new reporter, the new Daily Planet reporter gets her hands on a piece of kryptonite, brings it to work, and this causes Clark Kent to collapse. Now, of course, she knows who he really is, but he tells Batman about it, and Batman, in what she even says, mugs her to take the kryptonite away. This one is actually a pretty decent book, but it did make me think, why haven't we seen an issue where it's basically Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne going around the world trying to hunt down every last bit of kryptonite on Earth? Because you would think that those two men would definitely want to control it. In Sideways number 8, he invokes Alice in Wonderland, being on a strange trip, meeting different characters, and it's very much like that. But in all honesty, my first thought, like almost right out of the gate, was this is very much like Wizard of Oz. Same thing, though, on a journey, meeting a lot of different characters. In this case, the 7 Soldiers of Victory, which I particularly like. I think it's pretty cool. Overall, it's a fun book, but it's dark. It's not like other issues of Sideways. It's just dark. It's more mature than the last 7 issues, in my opinion. Harley Quinn number 50 is one of those holy crap it didn't suck books. It really does. It is fun, I have to say. Well, in this one also, Harley Quinn has a problem with continuity, and she goes, her mother is erased from continuity, and she goes from universe to universe, situation to situation, trying to get her restored to modern day continuity. And I say continuity a lot. It's a fun book, it's an entertaining book, and ultimately it's a forgettable book, but you at least will be having fun while you read it. Batman the Damned, or Batman Damned. Sorry, I keep trying to add the to it. Anyway, this is a very beautiful book to look at. Seriously, the art carries it. I think a lot of people who look at it just go, wow, this is impressive. A couple of people don't like it. I've gotten comments on that. However, in general, it is one of the best looking books of the year so far. As far as the story, in my opinion, it is a mess, and I can only state my opinion, to tell you the truth. And I think they were going for poetic. Unfortunately, it kind of fell apart. The dialogue is just all over the place. Narration as well. I wish I could say better things about the story, because I would love to say this is one of the perfect books out there, but unfortunately it falls a little bit short. The 4-star books, they're legitimately good, and I am proud to recommend them to you. Yeah, Justice League number 8. I could tell that the Batman Who Laughs is going to be around for a long, long time. They just seem to have a lot of fun with him. He is an ultimate villain. Very, very happy to read this book. Now, it's got other scenes, and I liked the scene between Cheetah and Black Manta and all that, talking about what's been going on with them. But it's the scene between Lex Luthor and the Batman Who Laughs that really sells this book, and the fact that Joker says you shouldn't mess with him. If any Batman is in a cage, it's because that's where Batman wanted to be. Really cool. Archie Meets Batman 66, number 3. This is one of those series that I'm going to just sing the praises of until it's like the number 1 book in America. Not just the number 1 comic book, but I'm talking about New York Times bestseller list number 1. It's just thoroughly fun. Obviously, it's campy as hell. In this one, the bad guys are trying to figure out why they can't control the kids and they can only control the adults. Jughead goes on the move because they closed Pop's burger stand down, and he's really hungry. Batman takes on the bookworm. It's just thoroughly entertaining, gang. This is definitely one you should be picking up. Detective Comics 988 is good. I like this book. I liked it especially when the 2 Fireflies are talking. That whole speech that the Firefly gives to his protege is just excellent. I loved it. The speech between, or the conversation between Batman and Commissioner Gordon is excellent. The fighting is okay. The ending, well, you see the cover. There's a whole build-up to find out the Two-Faces in the book, and it's ruined by the cover. This should have been the cover, not this one, but the first one should have been the cover to the next issue, not to this one. And that's my only gripe about this. Green Lanterns number 55 has me a little bit confused, because on one hand, oh my gosh, this is such an awesome freaking book. On the other hand, really? Cyborg Superman can take over the rings. I thought they were more embedded with like cosmic power than like the actual technology of them. Because if Cyborg Superman could take it over, you would think it's the mechanisms that's causing the power instead of, I don't know. I just don't like the premise. Love the book, don't like the premise. So take that how you will. It is really cool though. Injustice versus the Masters of the Universe. This is such a good book. It looks and feels kind of like the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossovers, which I'm okay with that because those books were equally as awesome. I'm not even a He-Man fan. I know the characters because my little brother collected them when he was a child. But these two mix, they're very good. It's an exciting story. It's a smart story. And I would say if you haven't been buying it in hard copies, definitely buy it trade paperback. Damage number 9 picks right up where number 8 left off, and basically it's the talking issue as the main bad guy or the villain or whatever you want to call her is talking Damage down. He's like, hey, look, you know, you signed up for this. This is exactly what you wanted, and you're doing it, so come on and do it for us because there's no difference. And hey, I mean, seriously, that is the crux of the issue. It is all character, all dialogue, and it's all good. I have to admit, I'm coming around on this story. When this started, I wasn't a big fan of it. I really wasn't. I enjoyed it, I guess, but it was just average. But it's been getting good. This particular issue I liked. There's a lot to it. I enjoyed the fact that they include a Legion of Superheroes member in here, you know, and I'm waiting for that particular shoe to drop. And definitely the ending makes me want to that really does make me want to read issue number 8. This is a solid book and so far a decent series. Batman Beyond number 24 concludes the Target Batman storyline, which has actually been pretty darn good. In this case, the new Scarecrow is using technology to make everybody afraid. In this case, they all see Batman as a demon and a horrible monster and so forth, so on, including the new Robin. And it's completely, it's more of a psychological thing. I love what they did with the new Scarecrow, though. There's a twist on this, and Jack Ryder lays it out very well. Yeah, I can recommend Batman Beyond. I really do. It's I keep using the word fun, but to me that's very important as far as comic books are concerned. But this is a well-written book. Check it out. Justice League Odyssey number 1. So I kind of got some flack for saying there's no Justice League members. Of course, you know, Jessica Cruz and Cyborg have been Justice League members. What I meant were the big 7, of course. And well, the book's good. It looks good. It's entertaining. It's not amazing though, and I would have preferred them to have their own name. You know, get their own identity. I'm not a big fan of 62 different books under the same title. I don't like it with the X-Men. Don't like it with Justice League. But I know it's just a thing I gotta live with. Suicide Squad number 46 has Aquaman going to King Shark to get help against the Suicide Squad, while Satanus, I always got it mixed up, is it Satanus or Satanus? Satanus makes his move. It's thoroughly entertaining. This is one of the best stories involving Suicide Squad, and Aquaman's just kicking ass for at least a couple of more issues. But this is a thoroughly entertaining book. It's over, so obviously, you know, if it's on the shelf, pick it up. But if not, it's definitely worth getting the trade. The Terrifics, number 8. Wow, this is so much fun. I keep using the word fun. I think I've described every comic book in this video as fun that I've liked. But hey, why not? I mean, it is. It's entertaining. They are separated. This is all set up for the next issue, by the way. But it's done very well, and you get a lot of character moments as well from it. And I particularly like this one. That's why I included this page where Plastic Man goes to Fun World, but they're all separated into different dimensions off of tree branches or something like that. It's very weird, very entertaining, and The Terrifics is a book you should be getting. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 26, or in this case, it's Red Hood. That's basically it. It's just him in his new costume, which still looks bad. I don't like this costume, gang. That being said, it's a more brutal Red Hood, and basically this is an action book. There are a whole bunch of pages of him just kicking all sorts of ass. I love this cover. That's what this book is. This is an introduction to new readers where they can find out who Red Hood is going to be about for the next few issues, or until a new writer comes in and retcons everything. It is pretty cool. It's pretty good, but it is definitely brutal. So Batgirl gets the bad news that her implant is acting up, and Unfortunately, so was her mind, and she's more worried about the mind. It reminded me of an issue of Marvel Team Up where Mr. Fantastic was losing his mind, and he was worried because he figured that was his real superpower, and I kind of liked the similarities. I like Batgirl worrying more about her brain than her body, you know, because, heck, you know, I've always liked her as Oracle. As a matter of fact, I've liked Barbara Gordon as Oracle better than Batgirl. This is a good book. I can recommend it. It's been getting better and better. I just hope it stays on this path. House of Whispers #1. There's finally a Sandman universe book that feels like the Sandman. I've liked the last one. I was okay, but I didn't think it was great for the Sandman universe. But this is entertaining in the way that I remember Sandman being entertaining. And I've got to say, I like this character. I'm going to get this wrong. Urzuli Frida Dahami. She felt like a character from Dream. And I'm not going to reveal too much. I'm just going to say pick this one up. It's good. Supergirl #22. Man, so Brian Michael Bendis comes on, creates the notion that Krypton was murdered, not destroyed by natural causes. And it made Superman in Action Comics so much worse because I think Brian Michael Bendis, and Supergirl has become so much better. I think because it's a Mark Andreyko. It's in better hands than Brian Michael Bendis. This is an exciting story. I've enjoyed the heck out of it. And this has adventure and comedy all at the same time as she's trying to find information. The axe that she's carrying thinks she's in danger, and everybody's trying to attack her to put down the axe while she's screaming she can't. It's thoroughly entertaining. This is a fun book. This is a good book. I would recommend Supergirl these days. Nightwing #49. It's Death Race 2000, except for without the citizens. That's what this is. It's a death race. They're supposed to reach the middle so they could get all-encompassing knowledge and truth. Though, you know, they can ask the one question that they need to ask, which is weird because, spoiler alert, Nightwing wins. And while he's in there, he asks a question before he asks his question, but they don't count it. So it's a little bit wonky. Anywho, it's still a fun book. I've got to give it at least that much, even if there is that one glaring flaw. Aquaman #40 kind of puts me in a little weird position because as a story, I will absolutely recommend this, but it is the end of... as a comic book, it's really good, but it's in the ending of a story, so you have to go back. If you haven't read this one, I can't say, hey, it's a great jump-on point, but it's thoroughly entertaining. It's very exciting. The Master Jailer is written very well, so is Satanus. Gosh, I love this book. I am so dreading #43. Just to think we have 2 more guaranteed good issues until then. But yeah, until then, get Sink Atlantis. It's a great story, and this is a great ending to it. Hawkman #4. So this is basically him fighting himself as he meets his Hawk World self. It's really cool. I know that's not going deep, but these are 40-second reviews to give you an idea of the emotion behind it. And I read this just thinking, this is cool. Now, I was a little irritated because Hawkworld Katar was just so hell-bent on not paying attention to what was right in front of him. And, since Hawkman was not fighting back, just listen for a little bit. But overall, this is a really good book, and it's a really good story. Hawkman is definitely one you should be reading if you aren't already. And the 5-star books, they're excellent. They may not be Watchmen quality, but man, they get the job done. Batman #55, I have to say I loved it. And you can really tell what was being set up now in hindsight. And why the last issue was the way it was, why this issue is the way it is. And I like the interaction. I like the play between Nightwing and Batman. The art's really done well. This cover is good. Doesn't have anything to do with what's inside the book, but still good. There's a lot to be loved about this, and this is one of those books where read it before somebody spoils it for you. That would be my biggest piece of advice for you. Read it before somebody spoils it for you. Well, there you go, gang. That was the countdown. Those are the reviews. What do you think? What did I put too high? What did I put too low? What do you think I was too hard on? What do you think I was too soft on? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you know the drill. Click like, share. Sharing gets word out about the channel. It's very important. Don't forget to do that. And if you haven't done it already, hit subscription and that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Be a part of the notification squad. Remember when that was a thing? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, this is also the way I'm trying to make a living, so if you don't mind helping me make videos for you, go on over to Patreon. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on. Helps keep making videos, as I said. That's important as well. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.